You don't need to wait for the perfect moment. You don't need more chances, more luck, or a miracle. What you need is already in you: consistency, discipline, mindset. Consistency isn't glamorous. It's showing up when no one's watching. It's doing the work when there's no applause, no reward, no immediate result. It's stacking bricks day after day until one day you turn around and see a fortress. Discipline is the fire you build inside yourself. It's the voice that says no to distractions, no to excuses, and yes to the grind. It's refusing to break just because it's hard, because you know that's exactly where strength is forged. And mindset is the master key. It's the way you see the world when everything is falling apart. It's turning "I can't" into "I will," and "I failed" into "I learned." It's believing you have more in you, even when you've already given your all. Right now, you might be in the pit, broken, tired, forgotten, but listen, the pit is not the end. It's the beginning of your climb. Every rep, every late night, every early morning is a brick in your comeback. And the people who doubted you, they'll watch in silence, because comebacks are not announced, they're built. You don't need permission, you don't need validation, you need consistency, discipline, and a mindset that refuses to die. Your moment is not coming, it's here. Get up, start now, because it's time for your greatest comeback. Consistency is the foundation. It is the quiet force that turns dreams into reality. Success does not arrive in sudden flashes of brilliance or bursts of energy that fade as quickly as they appear. It grows slowly and steadily from the actions you repeat every single day. It is not about what you do once in a while. It is about what you do over and over again until it becomes a part of who you are. Consistency is showing up when you don't feel like it. It is choosing progress over perfection. It is committing to the process even when the results seem invisible. Because the truth is, results always come last. First comes the routine, then comes the discipline, and only after that, the transformation. Every great achievement you see in the world was built brick by brick. A single workout will not make you strong. A single day of study will not make you wise. A single act of kindness will not change your character. But repeat those actions day after day, and you will become a completely different person. Consistency demands patience. It asks you to keep going long after the excitement wears off. It is the opposite of instant gratification. It is the long game, the commitment to keep building, even when you can't see the top of the mountain yet. Some days, the climb will feel endless. Some days, the weight will feel too heavy, and on those days, you will be tempted to quit. But consistency whispers in your ear, reminding you why you started. It tells you that every small step matters, that every effort compounds, adding to a result you will one day be proud of. Think of a seed. You plant it in the soil. You water it every day. You give it sunlight and care. For a long time, nothing happens on the surface, but underground growth is taking place. Roots are forming, the foundation is being built, and then, one day, the sprout appears, a visible sign of the invisible work that's been happening all along. That's how consistency works. It builds quietly, it transforms silently, and when it finally reveals itself, the world sees a sudden success that took years to create. Consistency is not exciting. It is not flashy. It will not always make you feel inspired, but it will always move you forward. It will carry you through the seasons of doubt. It will push you past the walls that stop most people, and it will lead you, step by step, to the life you've always wanted. Discipline is non-negotiable. It is the backbone of every success story. It is the power to keep going, not when you feel inspired, but when you feel nothing at all. Motivation is fleeting. It comes and goes like the weather. Some days it burns bright, filling you with energy and excitement. Other days it vanishes, leaving you with doubt, fatigue, and excuses. Discipline is what carries you through the days when motivation is nowhere to be found. It is the promise you make to yourself and refuse to break. It is waking up at the time you said you would, even when every part of you wants to sleep in. It is doing the work you said you would do, even when your mind begs for comfort. Discipline is the art of choosing long-term growth over short-term pleasure. It is turning away from distractions that offer quick satisfaction but steal your future. It is the ability to say no to the easy path and yes to the hard one because you know where it leads. Every time you keep your word to yourself, you build strength. Every time you push through resistance, you sharpen your character. Discipline teaches you to trust yourself. It shows you that you can depend on your own commitment, no matter the circumstance. This is why discipline creates freedom. It frees you from being controlled by moods, laziness, or fear. It puts you in command of your life because you no longer wait to feel like it. You act because you decided to. Discipline is not loud. It does not need praise or recognition. It is the quiet decision made in private that changes everything in public. It is the repetition of small, difficult choices that build into extraordinary results. Think of an athlete training before the sun rises. Think of the writer who sits down every day, whether inspiration is there or not. Think of the entrepreneur who keeps building, even when no one believes in their vision. They all share one thing: they do not depend on motivation. They depend on discipline, because motivation may start the journey, but only discipline will finish it, and finishing is everything. Discipline is the reason you follow through when it would be easier to quit. It is the reason you get back up after failure and keep moving forward. It is the reason you reach the summit when others give up halfway. Without discipline, you drift. With discipline, you steer. And when you steer, you control where you're going. You choose your direction, your pace, and your destination, and you keep moving no matter what stands in your way. Mindset shapes everything. It is the lens through which you see the world. It is the silent force that decides whether you rise or whether you fall. How you think determines how you act. How you act determines how you overcome. And how you overcome determines the life you live. Two people can face the same challenge. One sees a dead end, the other sees a lesson. One gives up before trying, the other digs deeper and finds a way. The difference is not in their circumstances, it is in their mindset. A fixed mindset sees limits, a growth mindset sees possibilities. When your mind is fixed on fear, every obstacle feels like a wall. When your mind is fixed on growth, every obstacle feels like a stepping stone. Mindset is the voice inside your head that tells you what you can or cannot do. If that voice is filled with doubt, hesitation, and negativity, it will sabotage you before you even start. But if that voice is filled with belief, determination, and courage, it will carry you through storms you never thought you could survive. Your mindset controls your focus. It decides whether you dwell on problems or search for solutions. It decides whether you blame circumstances or take responsibility. It decides whether you see failure as a defeat or as a teacher. When life tests you, and it will, mindset is the difference between breaking and breaking through. The right mindset does not ignore reality, it faces it head. It says, yes, this is hard, but I am harder. It says, yes, I have failed, but I am not finished. Mindset turns pressure into power. It turns doubt into discipline. It turns pain into purpose. You cannot control everything that happens to you, but you can control how you respond, and that response will always come from the way you think. If you believe you can, you will fight until you can. If you believe you cannot, you will stop before you even begin. That is why your mind must be trained as fiercely as your body. Feed it with clarity, positivity, and truth. Protect it from fear, envy, and defeat. Every day, you are building mental patterns of strength or patterns of weakness. Choose the ones that move you forward. Your mindset is your compass. Even in the darkest night, it can guide you toward the light. And when the path is unclear, it is your mindset that says, keep walking. Because the journey is not decided by the distance you have to travel. It is decided by the way you choose to think while you travel it. Progress is invisible before it's obvious. It hides in the small actions you take every day. It grows quietly, without fanfare, without applause. You will not see it in the mirror after one workout. You will not feel it in your skills after one practice. You will not taste it in your success after one day of effort, but it's there. It's being built in the background, piece by piece, moment by moment. The process works in silence long before the results speak in volume. This is where most people give up. They look for proof too soon. They plant the seed and dig it up every day to see if it's grown. But growth doesn't happen on your timeline. It happens on its own, in its own season. You have to trust that the work you put in today will show itself tomorrow, or the day after, or even years from now. Every step you take adds up, even when it feels like you're standing still. Every drop of effort fills the bucket, even when it seems empty. The truth is, change doesn't happen in a sudden leap, it happens in layers. Layers of action, stacked one on top of the other, until one day something shifts, and when it shifts, it will feel like it happened overnight, but it didn't. It was built in the unseen hours, in the uncelebrated moments, in the grind no one else saw. That's why patience is your greatest ally. It keeps you steady when doubt creeps in. It reminds you that the absence of visible results is not the absence of progress. It's simply the quiet stage of growth. Think of a glacier moving through the mountains. You cannot see it shift from one moment to the next, but over time, it reshapes entire landscapes. That is what your consistent effort is doing to your life, slowly but powerfully changing it, even when you can't yet see the change. This is why you cannot measure progress by today's reflection. You measure it by the path you've walked, by the battles you've fought, by the fact that you're still moving. There will be moments when you wonder if it's worth it, moments when the silence feels heavier than the work itself. But in those moments, you must remind yourself, every great transformation begins in the shadows. And when the light finally hits, the world will see what you already knew all along, that progress was happening the whole time. The hardest days build the strongest character. They are the days that test you, break you down, and demand more from you than you thought you had to give. They are the days when quitting feels easier than continuing. The days when your mind is tired, your body is heavy, and your heart questions why you're still fighting. But these are the days that shape you. Not the easy days, not the days when everything goes right. It's the hard days that carve strength into your soul. Pain is not the enemy. Pain is the proof that you're stretching beyond your limits. It is the fire that forges resilience. It is the storm that teaches you how to stand tall. Without pain, there is no growth. Without struggle, there is no strength. Every challenge you face is an opportunity to become someone you've never been before. Every setback is a lesson in disguise. The discomfort you feel today is the price you pay for the strength you will carry tomorrow. When you push through the hardest days, you build trust in yourself. You prove that you can stand in the middle of the storm and not be swept away. You learn that you are capable of more than you ever imagined. These moments of pain and struggle are not there to destroy you. They are there to strip away the weakness, the doubt, the fear, and leave only the strongest version of you behind. Think of steel being forged. It must endure extreme heat before it becomes unbreakable. You are no different. The heat of your hardest days is shaping you into something stronger, sharper, and more resilient. When you look back, you will not remember every moment of comfort. You will remember the battles you fought and won. You will remember the nights you wanted to give up but didn't. You will remember the pain that once felt unbearable but now feels like the reason you stand tall. Growth demands sacrifice. It demands that you walk through fire, not around it. It demands that you face the things you fear most. And when you do, you will find that the fire you feared was the very thing that lit your way forward. The hardest days may break you open, but in that breaking, they allow new strength to rise. Pain is part of the process, and in time, you will see that it was never there to stop you, it was there to build you. Distractions and excuses destroy momentum. They creep in quietly, stealing minutes, stealing energy, stealing progress. One moment, you are moving forward with clarity and purpose. The next, you are lost in something that doesn't matter, wondering where the time went. Momentum is fragile. It takes time to build, but can vanish in an instant. Every distraction you allow pulls you off course. Every excuse you make slows your steps until you stop moving altogether. Distractions aren't always loud. Sometimes they look harmless. A quick glance at your phone. A short break that stretches into an hour. A small delay in starting that turns into not starting at all. Excuses work the same way. They disguise themselves as reasons. They sound logical, even responsible. I'll start tomorrow. I'm too tired right now. I'll do it when things are better. But the truth is, these are not reasons, they are exits. And every time you take one, you walk further away from your goal. Guarding your focus is not optional. It is survival. Your focus is the fuel that drives your momentum. Lose it, and you lose your direction. Keep it, and nothing can stop you. Guard it from the noise. Guard it from the endless pull of things that do not move you forward. Guard it from people who drain your energy and plant seeds of doubt in your mind. Your focus is a fortress. Every time you give in to distraction, you leave a door open for your momentum to escape. Close those doors, set boundaries, say no more often. Choose to protect your vision, even if it means disappointing others. Understand this: your life will be shaped by what you give your attention to. If you give it to distractions, you will live a distracted life. If you give it to excuses, you will live a life full of regret. But if you give it to your mission, every day, every moment, you will create something unstoppable. Momentum is not magic. It is the result of focus, repeated and protected over time. Every hour you guard it, you get closer to your goal. Every day you keep it, you move faster and stronger. Distractions will always exist. Excuses will always whisper in your ear. But your future depends on which voice you listen to. And if you listen to the right one, the one that says keep going, keep building, keep moving, you will realize that focus was never just a tool. It was the very thing that carried you to the finish line. Failure is a teacher, not a death sentence. It is not the end of your story. It is a chapter filled with lessons you could never learn from success alone. Failure is not there to define you, it is there to refine you. Every mistake carries information. Every setback carries guidance. Every wrong turn shows you a better way forward. But you only receive the lesson if you are willing to look for it. If you treat failure as the final word, you will stop before the story is even close to finished. If you treat failure as a teacher, you will walk away wiser, stronger, and more prepared than before. The greatest achievements in history were built on foundations of failed attempts. People who reached the top were not spared from failure, they simply refused to stop there. They learned, they adjusted, and they kept moving forward. Failure exposes what is weak so you can make it strong. It shows you what doesn't work so you can find what does. It forces you to rethink, to adapt, to approach the goal from a different angle. It teaches humility. It teaches patience. It teaches persistence. When you fail, you are given a choice. You can let it break you, or you can let it build you. The difference lies in what you do next. Do you hide from the challenge, or do you face it again with new wisdom? Do you give in to the fear of failing again, or do you trust that each attempt brings you closer to victory? The road to success is paved with lessons disguised as failures. Every rejection, every missed shot, every wrong move, all of it is training. All of it is shaping you into the person who will finally succeed. Think of failure as a mirror. It shows you the truth. It reveals your blind spots, your weaknesses, and the gaps in your preparation. You can look away, or you can study it and change. When you embrace failure, you take away its power to stop you. It becomes just another step on the path, no different than the ones that came before or the ones that will come after. You will fail, you will stumble, you will face moments where everything seems to collapse. But if you rise, if you adapt, if you keep moving forward, failure will become your greatest ally, because it will never be the thing that ends you. It will always be the thing that strengthens you for what comes next. Comebacks are built in silence. They are not born from grand declarations or loud promises. They are forged in the quiet hours when no one is watching, when no one believes, and when you have nothing left to prove except to yourself. The world does not need to hear what you are going to do. It needs to see what you have done. Words are easy. They cost nothing, but action demands sacrifice, discipline, and persistence. Every great comeback begins in private. It starts when you choose to show up again, even after the world counted you out. It grows in the moments when you work in the shadows, stacking small victories that no one else sees. You don't announce your return, you build it, day after day, step after step. You endure the doubt. You endure the whispers that you're finished, that you're done, that your time is over. And you let those whispers fuel the fire, not distract from it. Silence is your shield. It protects your energy from being wasted on convincing others. It allows you to focus entirely on the work, on the grind, on the climb back up. Because when you speak too soon, you invite resistance before you've even rebuilt your strength. But when you stay quiet, you create an element of surprise. And there is nothing more powerful than unveiling your progress all at once, when it's undeniable, when it's unshakable, when it's already done. The people who once doubted you will have no choice but to acknowledge what they see with their own eyes. And by then, you won't need their approval, because the comeback was never about them. It was about you. It was about proving to yourself that you could rise again. It was about taking every piece of pain, every ounce of doubt, and turning it into momentum. It was about staying disciplined when no one was clapping. It was about showing up on the hard days and the empty days, when motivation was gone and only commitment remained. Comebacks are built in the unseen hours. They are made from sweat that no one notices, sacrifices no one thanks you for, and decisions no one understands until the results speak for themselves. So you stay silent, you keep moving, you keep working. And when the time comes, your actions will speak so loudly that they will drown out every doubt, every insult, every whisper that ever tried to hold you down. Your greatest weapon is persistence. It is the unshakable decision to keep moving forward when everything around you says stop. It is the refusal to quit, even when you are tired, even when you are discouraged, even when the road feels endless. Persistence is what separates those who dream from those who achieve. Many will start the race with you. Some will run faster in the beginning. Some will look stronger, more prepared, more talented. But talent fades when challenges appear. Speed slows when obstacles block the path, and one by one, people stop. They stop when it gets hard. They stop when it takes longer than they expected. They stop when the excitement wears off and the reality of the grind sets in. But you keep going. Not because it's easy, not because you feel like it every day, but because you made a decision that quitting is not an option. Persistence does not require that you move quickly. It only requires that you do not stop. You can stumble, you can fall, you can crawl if you have to. As long as you are moving forward, you are still in the fight. Every step you take, no matter how small, keeps you in the game. Persistence turns time into an ally. Because while others quit, every extra day you keep going compounds your effort. You build momentum, you grow stronger, you outlast the resistance. This is why persistence is your greatest weapon, because most people will give up long before the victory is possible. They will never see what was just around the corner. They will never realize that they were one more step, one more try, one more day away from the breakthrough. But you will, because you stayed long enough to see it. Persistence is quiet power. It is not about making noise or proving anything to the world. It is about proving to yourself that you can endure, that you can outlast, that you can keep showing up until the result appears. When storms hit, persistence is the anchor that keeps you steady. When the road stretches on with no end in sight, persistence is the compass that keeps you moving in the right direction. And when everyone else has turned back, persistence is the reason you are still standing, still fighting, still chasing what you started. It doesn't matter how far you've come or how far you still have to go. What matters is that you refuse to stop until you've gone the distance. Your time is now, not tomorrow, not when things feel easier, not when life magically clears a path for you. There is no perfect moment. There is only this moment, the one you are in right now. Every second you wait, you trade possibility for hesitation. Every excuse you make steals time you will never get back. Life will never pause to let you catch up. Opportunities do not wait for convenience. The world does not stop spinning until you feel ready. And if you keep waiting for the perfect conditions, you will wait forever. You will tell yourself stories about why now isn't the right time. You will convince yourself you need more money, more confidence, more clarity, but the truth is, none of those things arrive before you start. They are built along the way. Courage is not something you are given. It is something you earn by taking the first step. Clarity is not something you find before you begin. It comes from moving forward, from learning, from adjusting as you go. The path does not appear until you walk it. The mountain does not shrink until you climb it. Waiting feels safe, but it is an illusion. It is the slowest way to lose your dreams, because time is not something you can save, it is something you can only spend. And every day you spend in hesitation is a day you cannot get back. The moment you decide to start, everything changes, not because the world changes, but because you change. You begin to see possibilities where you once saw problems. You begin to find solutions instead of excuses. You begin to believe in yourself, not because everything is certain, but because you are finally moving, and movement creates momentum. One step turns into two. Two turns into 10. And before you know it, you are further along than you ever thought you could be. The people you admire did not start because they were ready. They started because they refused to wait. They understood that progress lives in action, not in thought. Your dreams are not somewhere far in the future. They are waiting for you on the other side of a decision, and that decision is not complicated. It is simply this: start now. No matter how small the step, no matter how uncertain the path, take it. Because the moment you decide, the moment you act, the moment you stop waiting, is the moment your new life begins. So stop looking at the clock and stop searching for the perfect sign. The only signal you will ever need is already inside you, the pull that tells you it's time. Not someday, not later, now. The door in front of you will not open itself. You have to push it. And when you do, you will realize that the life you've been waiting for has been waiting for you to begin. This is your time. Step into it.